Well, hi there, my Shooby Doodlers, and welcome to another Wednesday Advice chat. And if you're wondering what the picture's about, it's my pond in my garden. It's the view I have out of my window, and at the moment the frogs are spawning. So there's frog spawn all over the place. So if you watch really closely, you might see a frog, but then again, you might not. Okay. So what questions have I got? So I've got questions this week about drawing people, sketching problems, and just kind of motivational problems and things like that. I just want to finish off a question from last week from Angelic Shadow 14, and because I didn't answer part of the question, which was when you've been asked to illustrate a book, are you given a certain time period or what? How does it work? Well, yeah, you do, because when a publisher decides we're going to publish a book, they have to make huge, great decisions. There's a lot of money involved in putting it together. You've got to pay the author, you've got to pay the illustrator, you've got to pay the editors and the printer and all sorts of stuff. So everything, a pot of money gets put aside, and they go to the printer and say, how much is it going to cost us to print, 20,000 copies, whatever it is, on this date? And the printer says, if you have your artwork ready on that date, I will charge you this amount of money. So you need to get it done on that date, because otherwise the price starts getting higher and higher. So it is really, really important to get work finished. And going on from that kind of motivation question we had from last week, so it's targets. So if you're a commercial kind of illustrator like I am, and my art I do to make a living, then you constantly have to be doing the best you can within the time, and quite often you have to let go of work when you're not quite happy with it, and a kind of an artist would say, oh, I'll hang on to that for another 6 months and I'll add a bit more and I'll just get it right. You don't have the chance to just get it right if you're a commercial artist, and you have to kind of get used to that and just letting go and then moving on to the next job, but always trying to do the very best that you can within the time. And I think also, if you are a kind of an expressive kind of artist, I think at the same time it's quite good to set yourself some kind of a target, because otherwise you'll just drift on for years and years and years and never quite finish anything, and you just start filling your life full of excuses of why you haven't got any better or whatever. So determined to finish things, I think, is quite important. Actually, this leads on to another question from Mr. Basement Gamer, who says, please help me, Shoo. I've always wanted to sketch and draw, but I seem to have a problem getting that mental image, and all my drawings just make me unhappy. I spoke to my friends who can draw very well, and they all told me that they have mental images whenever they draw. Can you help me? Well, that is really difficult. I've always just had mental images in my head, and I just kind of draw what I see inside my head. And I visit lots of schools, and I talk to lots of children about things, and people see things in different ways, and kind of dancers see things in movement, musicians see things in musical notes and maybe colours as well. Some musicians see music in colours, and people kind of see things in different ways. If you really, really want to draw and you can't kind of see things in your head, then you need to start with something really, really small. Find an object that's really, really simple, like boxes. I keep going on about boxes in my videos. I'll put a link here to my boxes playlist. Go and have a look at that, and just learn to draw boxes, and get a mental image of a box inside your head, so that you can start rotating it and twisting it around and drawing it from any angle, and just draw again and again and again until what you see in your head you can put down. And then move on to a more complicated shape, move on to a diamond or something like that, and just keep going and going and going, until you get this connection between your hand and your brain and your images in your head. So that's kind of the best way I can imagine to start off with, because I don't know, I've just kind of always done it, and I've not really had to think about that. I just always have pictures in my head, and And don't worry about that. Everybody is different. You know, people's brains are wired up differently. And if other people can do things that you can't do, don't get hung up about it. Talk to them, try and understand what they're seeing and how they're doing, and say, well, okay, I don't do that, but how can I maybe get something and adapt the way I think into how they're doing? And what you do will be as equally interesting because you're bringing a different viewpoint to the way you draw. I hope that makes some kind of sense. Now, I've had several messages from Born to Rule 326 who wants to know how to hold pencils, and I really don't know how to answer this question because I think it's just different for everybody. But I think if you're going to be holding it really, really tight like that, you're going to be wanting to do really, really tight little drawings. I'm just doing kind of a nose and a mouth, kind of a little face. I just don't know how to answer this question. I think if you want to draw big sweeping things, then hold the pencil right at the back, and then you can do big sweeping lines like that, and also then the shake in your hand, because the pencil is kind of long like that, the shake will kind of disappear. Whereas if you hold it really close and try to do a kind of a sweeping line like that, it'll get a bit more wobbly. I could probably do it more faster, but then that becomes less accurate. And then I'm right-handed, and when I see left-handed people drawing, they kind of seem to be drawing upside down to me. But that suits them, and it suits the way their brain works. It suits the way their hand works, and it suits the style of artwork that they want. So I think the answer about holding pencils is to try all sorts of things, try all sorts of ways. I know some people kind of hold them in like a grip like that, and they really gripping tight. I mean, I kind of rest the pencil on here and on that middle finger, and then it's a 3-point thing here, and it's kind of rested there as well. But other people do all sorts of things, so please don't get hung up about how you hold your pencil. Just try everything, find what works best for you. Okay. Now here's another one, similar. It's all motivation kind of thing from DCOSW666. He says, do you ever get that moment where you have so many ideas that you could draw, paint, etc., but your brain just doesn't spit any out? I have a very wild imagination, yet most of the time I can't get things onto my canvas. Help, please. Well, this is kind of the exact opposite, isn't it? And I think one of the things is not to get wound up and hung up about it, because the more tense you get, the harder it is to get anything working. If you've got too many ideas and too many images in your head, then the thing is to choose one of them and stick with it right through to the end. It doesn't matter which one it is. Just pick on one of them and get to the end, and then you will feel that you have succeeded in something and you will have achieved something. Look at your piece of work and go, that wasn't what I wanted to do. What I really wanted to do was that other idea. And then you'll know what you want to do because you've done something. But if you just never actually start, and if you just keep starting things and never finishing, then you're never going to get anywhere. You need to finish one piece of work to be able to move on to the next work, and then determine that you are going to finish that piece of work too. You must finish. And you'll be getting lots of ideas, and you can keep adding those ideas as you go along, but finish at least one piece of work. Okay? I hope that makes some sense. And then my last one was from Tip Top Golfy, who's been commenting on my videos for a long time. And he says, Shoo, I was wondering if you give me some advice. I'd really like to learn to draw humans. So things like figures and faces. I'd really like to draw things like that, but I don't know where to begin. Although I do draw lots of cartoons and like cartoony styles of drawing, I would like also to be able to draw some more serious stuff. So I was hoping you might be able to help me, because I'd really like to draw humans. Well, one thing you could do is look around to see if locally somebody is doing life drawing classes, because the best way to draw humans is to draw humans. And if you've got somebody there who's teaching, who's good at it, and they can sort of explain anatomy and stuff like that. The other thing is to kind of get a book on anatomy. This is a great one from Dorling Kindersley, which is kind of full of, showing you how to do things, showing how the body is built. And there's this fantastic book. This is a really old book, and you can see I bought this. My college, art college, was selling this off because so many people have borrowed it and cut pictures out of it. And this was by a guy called Mybridge, about 100 years ago. And he took hundreds and hundreds of pictures of people sort of walking and everything, and they're all kind of naked, and you can see all the muscle structure of how they're walking and jumping and things like that. And they might be really old, but they still are really brilliant images. So you can kind of study those and see how people walk and get. You really need to kind of study the skeleton as well to see how everything is put together. And maybe I'll kind of try and put some videos together about that as time goes on. But that's my immediate suggestion until I maybe get around to doing something like those kind of videos. And how are we doing with the t-shirt competition? I seem only to have had one entry so far. I think I made it difficult to enter. If you want to do a video response, that is fine. But basically, go and have a look at this is my robot drawing. This is the t-shirt. You can get the t-shirt from the link below. And but what you want to do is, look, there's a link here. Go and have a look at this video, and be inspired by it, and do your own robot in space kind of drawing. And it can be anything. You can paint it any style. You can be any age. It doesn't matter. And the prizes there are 3 winners. So if I only get one entry, here we are. Look, have a look. This is the one entry I had so far. If I only get one entry, then they're going to get 3 prizes. What you have to do is just be inspired by it and do your own robot drawing. And you can do a video response if you want. So just link a video response to this video. No, the video up here. Or you can do it to this one or that one. It doesn't matter. I'll kind of sort it all out. So if you want to do a video response. Otherwise, click here to see how to connect to Google+. Send it to me. Send it to my PO box address down below. If you want advice yourself, if you've got lots of ideas and things that you want to ask me about, put your questions in the comments below. So there we go. That's all for this week. I hope I've helped somebody with some of that advice. And in the meantime, remember to keep drawing, and practice. And you take care now. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.